My name is Ty, and I have a real loving character. I've been treated the worst, that's why I try to treat people with the best. I've also learned how to treat myself well. My biggest coping mechanism is music and poetry. It helps me calm my nerves and keep my mind off past traumas. It helps me bring the dark to the light. I'm sure you all can relate. You know when you listen to an old song from when you were a kid and it bring back memories? To me, that's the best feeling, like grandma's cookies. Shout out grandma. Those songs for me are all from Richmond artists, cause that's home. Music in Richmond gets overlooked, but artists in Richmond be talking about real life stuff, and a lot of people don't get that. In Richmond, you gotta stay on your 10 or you could get got. Richmond helped me learn to be aware of how I dress, how I talk, and what kind of people I'm cool with. In Richmond, we have our own certain ways of how we show out. We have our own little accent, as y'all can hear. We wear hats all year round and always got on the North Face. You learn to navigate people based on what side of Richmond you're born on and what kind of crowd you hang with. Richmond teaches you how to tell if someone is real or fake. Growing up in Richmond is probably one of the worst cities to grow up in, but it built me into who I am today. Growing up, I never really had money in my pocket, so I figured out ways to get my own money. It wasn't always the best ways, which is how I ended up in juvenile hall. It was the worst sleeps of my life. If being in jail isn't bad enough, the beds in there are terrible. I'm telling y'all. I'd rather sleep in a hospital bed before a jail bed. Facts. Y'all remember the gymnastic mats y'all have in gym class? That's a jail bed. Imagine you go from a warm bed at home, sleeping on a gym mat with the movers blanket. That's what jail's like. When I went to jail, I already knew some people in there, so I took the time to learn from my mistakes and apply the knowledge from my cellies so I could learn from their mistakes too. It's like they say, pray for the best but be prepared for the worst, and I got a little bit of both. The best thing that happened to me after all that was getting to graduate high school. There was a while where I didn't know if I'll be able to walk the stage. I knew when I got locked. I knew when I got locked up that I had earned my graduation in terms of credits, but I didn't know if I would be free to attend the actual ceremony. About a week before my graduation date, I was released, but on ankle GPS, and had a probation officer that was a power junkie. I wasn't allowed to go to birthday parties, wasn't even allowed to have people at my house, no girls, no nothing. So with all that, it was still really unclear if I could go to graduation. My PO had a million questions. Where is it? How long is it? When will you be leaving your house? What time will you be home? But finally, after jumping through all the hoops, I was approved to walk the stage for my graduation. When it was finally my turn to walk, it was such a good feeling. I'll be honest, I blushed a little bit. My family was so excited, all I could hear when I was walking was them cheering for me. As I walked down the aisle, I could see my mom and she was smiling. And for my mom, that's very unusual. She usually got a mug on her face. But for that day, she couldn't help herself but to smile. I was also really uplifted by Annalise and Joe from Fly, who were there. They were they were so happy for me. Annalise was my case manager, and she'd be by my side. She had been by my side for at least a year at that point. Probation connected me with Fly after my second time in juvie. Annalise was my case manager. She was so loving, caring, and helpful. She was at every court date checking in on me to make sure I was clean for drug tests, and she also checked on me personally to see how I was doing with my friends and family. And then there's Joe. Now, I'm one of the reasons Joe got hired, believe it or not. If you don't know, If you don't know, Fly always has young people who done programs interview potential new staff. I was at the office to help with interviews, but I bumped into Joe in the bathroom. I complimented him on his suit and asked him where he got it from. Let him know he was looking real sharp that day. So we were chopping it up. He started talking to me about his suit and everything before he even knew who I was. He was even telling me where I could get the suit. So I'm the reason he's here today. But to bring it back around, I'm the reason he's here, and they're the reason I'm here too. They helped me get through hard times and helped me celebrate the ones like when they were at my graduation. So I want to ask them to stand up real quick so we could get them a round of applause. All right. Thank you, Annalise and Joe, and thank all of you for listening to my story. It's just the beginning. I got so much more to go, but for now, I'll leave you with this. Picture me in a battlefield in a war I can't even beat. They hating talking down, but I promise so no sympathy. When I'm up and rich, I don't question why they envy me. Before I lay, I pray so God can have my soul to keep.